Hey, is this thing on? I want to make sure Gilberto hasn't tried to silence me now that he's seen some of the tape floating around on social media of my boy Tim Tebow scoring touchdowns, getting yards, and making an impression on this team. Oh my good God, is that whiskey going to taste so good? Because I'm going to have the right to say, I told you so, Gilberto. But now let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan and Daygo, and I am the promo reader for the reigning, defending, undisputed World Heavyweight Champions of Podcast in the world, Compas on the beat with Fernando Ramirez and Alberto Manzano, but we can skip over that part. Let's get going. Man, it's good to be indoors to read some promos because it is hot outside for the Chargers training camp, but that's okay. Dan and Daygo can take the heat, unlike those two. Whoa, what is this? My brother's not a diva. My brother is a saint. He's out there sweating, covering the team, writing, tweeting, recording, all this stuff. That diva is Herbert over here standing in the shade. Standing. He's not moving. He's not running. What does he need shade for? Probably dehydrated. I saw that compa lounging by the shade while I was watching my boy Justin Herbert throw heat from the bleachers. I see everything. I'm out there with my binoculars. I'm watching everybody and everything. Speaking of heat, I think Gilberto's starting to feel that heat because all of a sudden he wants to be friendly with Dan and Daygo, asking me to take awkward pictures with me. I wonder why. Oh, wait. I know why. Because Tim Tebow is making plays and scoring touchdowns at Jaguars training camp. He's seen the videos just like I mentioned previously, and I've seen the videos. He knows he's going to be so wrong, and he wants me to go easy on him. What a big mistake from that fool. Of course, I'm not going easy on anybody. Tim Tebow is making the 53-man roster and taking over the league once again. Tebow mania. Woo, brother, it's going to run wild. But that's okay. I'll let Gilbert slide this week and let him have his picture. He's a fan of Dan and Daygo. I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. Now let's reveal this week's star-studded guest lineup. Sticking with the theme of heat, the Compas will be joined by the king of hot takes, Daniel Popper. Got a great name over there, bud. Chargers beat reporter for The Athletic will stop by to talk to the Compas about some tacos and football, but not the one that they play in Europe, the one that's played in the greatest country on earth. You won't want to miss this. But before we get to Gilbert, but before we get to Gilberto and Fernando sharing their analysis and stories from the first week of Chargers training camp, let me tell you about Manscaped. The world is starting to open up with so many events. The Olympics, some baseball, major championships, concerts. I have to say it, everybody. Luke Holmes, shout out. I'll be there October 1st. And of course, football is back this summer. So if you're planning on many summer activities like that slacker, Gilberto, make sure you take care of your below-the-waist trimming needs before stepping out. And Manscaped has got you covered. The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to get you ready. Inside, you'll find your Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, weed whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, plus 2 free gifts. Everybody loves gifts. Performance boxer briefs and a shed travel bag. Talk about a world-class dismount into a post-quarantine world. This package is the perfect package for your package and peak performance in whatever sport you so desire. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take the podium. The 4th generation trimmer features cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You cannot be too safe when it comes to the royal jewels, everybody. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor. A new multi-function on and off switch can engage a lock travel and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Okay, by now you must be convinced that the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 is a must-have. So go to the Manscaped website and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code LAFB20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code LAFB20 at manscaped.com. Achieve below the waist glory this year with Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com because Dan and Daygo said so. Do it. Do it now. And after you get yourself a Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, go subscribe to Compas on the Beat on YouTube and turn on the notifications. And feel free to comment under every video. Get in there. Keep telling Herberto in the comments that the world needs more of Dan and Daygo. You can't stop this train, baby. Get back. But back to what I was saying. Go subscribe to the auto version of Compas on the Beat, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Don't forget to rate and review. And be sure to help me settle this debate right now. Go in the comments. Let them know which Star Wars is your favorite and why it's Revenge of the Sith. I don't want to hear it. Now let's get to the best damn podcast in the universe. Play the music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez, Chargers beat reporter for Sports Illustrated. With me, as always, my co-host and tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, Chargers beat reporter for the OC Register and LA Daily News. What's up, bro?
Fernando, this is a very special episode of Compas on the Beat because I encourage the squeakiness of what's up, bro, because I am pumped. I am hype. I should probably slow down because you can't understand me. I'm just so excited that there's a lot to talk about because there's Chargers training camp. You know, I just feel, I don't know, excited and happy that, you know, we joke around as sports reporters, like, oh, I have to wake up early, but like watching football up close is pretty cool. I feel like I'm excited for this and we have a lot to talk about. And it was cool to see the fans out there. And we'll talk about Dan and Daygo in a little bit. But we saw everybody to kind of get out there. We've been doing this show for what? Since March. We've been talking about it. And just to be out there with the fans was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and you know what, Gilbert? It really makes you thankful for everything because last year we experienced what training camp was like. We could only watch the first 15 or the first 25 to 30 minutes. And then they would send us back to the tents, and we'd either could go home or do Zoom calls from there. So it's really thankful, and it's funny that you mentioned that because Brandon Staley's moved up his practice time. It is now 9 a.m. Anthony's was 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So he moved it to a little bit back. And you know what's funny? I thought to myself the first day when I woke up at 5:45, because I still, like, as people know, I still live in San Diego. And I thought I was going to be like, oh, I don't want to. Man, I got up excited. I was like, yes, let's go. Like, it's football. We're going to be able to watch the whole practice. Took a shower, got the hair, got to look nice and everything. And so, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, it's funny because you and I are always, in a sense, together during the beginning of practice. So fans are like the compas, or we get the what's up, bros, and like stuff like that. So it's been awesome to see a lot of you guys out there. We appreciate you guys shouting us out. If you guys, we know Karen, who her Twitter handle is at Karen Loves Sports. She's been the one that's, oh my God, I want a picture with you guys. How are you guys, sweetheart? If you guys want the fist bump, if you guys want pictures, let us know. We are so down. We love seeing you guys out there. We love that you guys shout us out. We love that you guys check out the show. So we've been so happy to see a lot of Charger fans that we haven't seen in over a year.
Yeah, no, that was the part that was very cool and kind of caught me off guard a little bit because we leave the tent and we start walking near the sideline to look at players. And we're like really into reporter mode. Like, all right, we got to check to see for sure the quarterbacks. Okay, Justin Herbert there, check. Looking for some rookies, Josh Palmer, check. And then you start hearing, compas, what's up, bro? Like everybody's coming for you, Fran, saying, what's up, bro? And people are attacking me like Dan and Daygo does. So it's been pretty fun. But like you mentioned, we got to finally meet in person, or I did, Karen. We met a high school football coach and his family. They were very nice to us.
Very nice.
Somebody talked boxing with me, asked me about Earl Spence and Manny Pacquiao.
You were in your element.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what? Like, oh, you watch the show? You know, I like boxing. We heard people or met people from Jacksonville, North Carolina. So just feeling the love out there was pretty cool. And like I was saying, we forget that we've been doing the show for a while. So during the off season, we got to express ourselves, not just as journalists, as people. And I think people have really embraced that. And now football is coming, so we're kind of tying that together. So to kind of get out there, people was very cool for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, like I love talking to fans, and they start asking you questions, and they ask us about the podcast and everything. So it's been a lot of fun to check that out. Like you mentioned, the high school coach that we spoke to today, he stopped us while we were going to go see the other side of the field, and he's like, "Hey guys, I know we gave him a little bit of a preview because he was so nice. His family, beautiful family. I remember he asked us, when are you guys gonna have Pop on? And I was like, I look around, I'm like, don't say anything, but we're gonna have him on this week. And today he's like, hey guys, like you guys, when are you guys? I'm like, that episode comes out tomorrow. And he's like, and he said, I watch you guys, like I don't just listen, I watch on YouTube. I check you guys out, and I'm like, that's awesome. People love to see our facial expressions and everything. And it was funny because somebody, I remember we were talking, and Dan and Daygo comes down, and we're talking with him, and he's like, wait, you're Dan and Daygo? And you see his face just turn red, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm Dan and Daygo. So it's been a fun couple of days, and like I said, if any fans, like, let us know, shout at us, do whatever you guys want. If you guys want pictures, whatever, we are down. We love you guys. We love that you guys shout us out and listen to the show. Like I said, it's been so awesome being able to do this with for you guys, and obviously with a good friend like Gilbert.
Yeah, no, a year ago it was just so strange looking over, and there's no fans out there, nobody kind of cheering on the rookie quarterback Justin Herbert, and now every time I look at the bleachers, they're filled up. And then what was very cool was Saturday, because it's a weekend, people come out the most. The Chargers played on the field the closest to the stands. They got the up close kind of view, so kind of feeling the energy from Saturday was very cool. We saw some dude in the whole like lucha libre outfit with belt. You take a picture with the belt. There was a mask out there. There was flags out there. A lot of Chargers gear, of course. And I just think it's been very cool to get that energy back again. But it just kind of caught me off guard at first, like, oh, like there's people here, and then they know who I am. Like, oh, it just feels like a I don't know, it just feels something cool. Like it feels like something that we really kind of revealed ourselves for a couple months, and people really like that, and that's been the best part for me. And because this job, like we're always like working pretty hard to report the news, exactly, and Chargers news, and you write stories, and sometimes you feel like nobody's reading the stories, and you're like, okay, why am I waking up so early? Why am I staying up late? Or why am I editing this podcast? And then you go out there and you feel the support. I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome. Like you mentioned, Fernando. So you gotta say hi to us, and you want to trash talk, or you agree with me, I'm more for it. We'll fist bump. I know you got to be a little safe nowadays, but overall I think it's been pretty cool. And I think both parts, the Chargers and the fans, have handled it pretty well for the first week of training camp.
100%. It's funny you mentioned Chargers Warrior. He's like the ultimate warrior. So that's his name on Twitter and on Instagram. And it was funny because I met him in 2018, I believe. And in 2019, he was getting everything together, and he was going to do the Ultimate Warrior thing. And he's like, I'm just waiting for a WWE belt that I built. And I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, that is going to be awesome. And literally, like, the pandemic happens, and I'm never able to see this belt. In 2019, Gilbert, I don't know if you remember, Keenan Allen scored a touchdown against, I think, Minnesota Vikings, and he goes up and he grabs the belt from Chargers Warrior, and he puts it on upside down, but he puts it on and starts celebrating. Well, the referee flagged him because he thought that was a celebration that Keenan had already talked to Chargers Warrior about, and I asked him, did he even talk to you? He's like, no, he just came up, he gave the ball to a fan, and he grabbed the belt from me, and he just celebrated with it. So it was hilarious. But like you said, Gilbert, this has just been a lot of fun. But I feel like you're dodging a little bit, Gilbert. I feel like you're talking about the fans, talking all nice and everything. We can't ignore the first 7 minutes of this show. Dan and Daygo let you have it a little bit. I mean, what's going on? I mean, you guys have seen each other. There's been a lot of back and forth. What some thoughts on that?
Hey, I thought we were getting along, and what, me being the bigger man and trying, make peace, because now it's football season. We got to get along. Hey, I just say, hey, you know what, man, you're always wrong. You're delusional, and you're out there. But you know what? I'm gonna accept you for who you are. Let's take a picture here, you and I. Let's squash it. That guy, he's just not a people person. He was like not having it, like, oh, we got to pose like this. What is this? Like, I'm like, come on, be a team player. And you know what? It just kind of, I say, you know what? Forget it, Dan. We're not making peace. You're coming back on the show. We're going to, throw our dukes up, I guess, or our mics up. We're not working around. But it's a fight, And August 17, we signed the contract. We took pictures. We promoted the big fight. He wants to go through with it. So you know what? it's gonna be your loss. You're trying to face me. I'm undefeated. You got the cowboy hat. I got the nice hair. So it should be a good battle. August 17, a couple of weeks away. Dan and Daygo finally joins the show, and there's no ducking. I saw him in person. I saw him at Korean barbecue. I see him everywhere. So he's making up stories. Don't buy it, people. I shake his hand, and he tries to act a little different. So August 17th, we'll find out who's a better, trash talker, who has the better takes, and who's always right, and who's always styling and profiling. And that's me, your boy.
It was hilarious because as soon as Dan and Daygo found out that Tim Tebow had caught a touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Oh no, he caught two, I think, that day, and he was like, you could see him from the stands, and he just points at his phone, and I just start laughing. I look down at my phone. He had sent me 2 videos of Tim Tebow catching touchdown passes, and he's like, show it to the stooge, and I just start laughing. I'm like, Gilbert's like, I don't even want to like look, and I'm like, all right, cool, like fair enough. You don't have to. It's cool.
It's a nice start, for Tim Tebow getting some touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. I get it, but I got to be out there. Is he blocking? Is he doing something on special teams? He's not gonna be a everyday tight end. He's not that good. I don't think so. But I don't know. It's a good start. I'll let Dan and Dayo take the small victory, but I'm telling you, come August 17, him and I go 1-on-1, and then come cut down day. Uncle Joe and myself will probably be laughing.
I was laughing because we were driving down recently, and he's like, man, weren't the Chargers, because he was in basic training when this happened, he's like, didn't the Chargers, weren't they going to talk to Urban Meyer? Didn't they have talks with Urban Meyer or whatever? And I was like, well, yeah, but it wasn't really, okay, that's all I needed. Can you imagine if Tim Tebow was a Charger right now? And I just started laughing. I was like, oh my God. He's like, Gilberto would have to eat them words. He would have to interview him. He'd have to talk to him. And I just started laughing. I'm like, I don't think Gilbert can handle something like that.
It'll be fine. I'm a professional. I do my job, and I'm courteous. But I guess it'll be unique. But, the Chargers are doing pretty well with Jared Cook and Donald Parham Jr., who we'll get into in a second. Trey McKitty. So sorry, Dan and Daygo, no room for your boy Tim Tebow. We have to go to Jacksonville for that, or you could leave the Southern California area. And you know what? Before we move on, can you believe this jabroni coming into my show, my territory at Chargers training camp, where I do work? He's trying to come into my territory. Go back to the bleachers, Dan and Daygo, looking like Steve Bartman with the headphones, anti-social and trying to talk to nobody. He has these giant headphones like he's listening to a baseball game at 1:00 in the afternoon. But I don't know. I don't understand this guy. Is he a cowboy? Is he, is an old soul? But I just don't get him coming to my show. Like The Rock says, The Rock show, my show, and trying to just kill my vibe, man.
It's going to be interesting. August 17th, again, folks, Dan and Daygo will be joining the show. Obviously, he's our promo reader, but this time he will be joining as a guest. It will be interesting to see. And honestly, it's been a lot of fun since we added Dan and Daygo. It's been a lot of fun between him and Gilbert. So we're just trying to continue it. We're going to see what happens that on August 17th. But
be on Compas pay-per-view.
Oh, there you go. So be on the lookout.
Subscribe and review.
Be on the lookout for that. But Gilbert, you talk about professionalism, doing your job and everything. So let's get into that now. I'm going to start it off easy with you. Rookie that has surprised you.
Rookie that surprised me. Actually, before we move on, let me just give a quick shout out to our guy from last week, Adrian Garcia Marquez, and Francisco Pinto, because they did a great job with the fans on Saturdays. I don't want to forget them. But in terms,
they brought the energy.
They did. So I was remembering, I should have mentioned and give them a shout out because that was pretty awesome.
Do you think the Compas are going to get a chance to hype up the crowd?
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool one of these days. I don't know. Danny likes to listen to the show. So
can you imagine if I grab that microphone with the way I am? I don't know.
You won't even let it go. Like I'll be like Francisco and Adrian. Adrian talking the whole time. I won't say anything,
bro.
But make sure to check out the guys on the Spanish radio broadcast because they were amazing and you got a kind of a glimpse to it. But in terms of the rookie, should I just get into it and just go with the first round pick, the easy one? Because we waited for about 4 practices for a Rashawn Slater sighting, and it's kind of hard to tell. Like the coaches kept saying, well, it's kind of hard to tell without pads, and the pads came out today being Monday, first day of padded practice, well, half day, there was kind of a mix up there for the pads, but Rashawn Slater, you could see why everybody was enamored with his skills being the most polished offensive lineman.
Yeah.
He calls himself a technician. And you see it because, yeah, he's not the biggest guy out there. You look at him, he's not as big as Brian Bulaga, Storm Norton, Trey Pipkins. He is undersized. But when he went one-on-one with Joey Bosa, Kyler Fackrell, Uchenna Nwosu, his skills, his tenacity, his strength, his movement got him to keep pace with these longer edge rushers. So, when in terms of the length size, yeah, it's kind of hurt him, but he gives up maybe like a little bit of a space or a step back, but he's so fast with his feet. He's so athletic that he can move his arms in the perfect direction that, he could stop a Joey Bosa. He could stop a Kyler Fackrell. So I think for me, I know we're getting really ahead of ourselves. And I think you said it, Fernando, but and Popper said it also. We'll get on the show later on that they've been watching Chargers practice, but they never see an offensive lineman do that to Joey Bosa. So for me, to hear that from you two guys who've covered many Chargers camp and myself as well, to see that, I think is a big, great start for Rashawn Slater, the first round pick.
100%. I'm going to go with Josh Palmer.
Ooh.
I've been very impressed with the first 2 days. I didn't really see much from him, but recently he's been on Monday, I think he caught 2 touchdowns. Last week, I don't know if you remember, but that play where Justin kind of rolled out to his left and then he saw him and he hit him in stride and it was a long pass. It was either Saturday or Friday. I can't remember what day it was, but
Saturday.
Saturday. So I just feel like Josh Palmer is really adapting well. I remember when he got drafted, all we heard is, hey, he didn't really have that good a quarterback play at Tennessee. Wait till he has a good quarterback. I feel like he's kind of a combo between Keenan and Mike in a sense. Like, I feel like his route running is not, I think it's better than what I advertised. And I think his big playability where he jumps up into the air, I feel like he really gets some height on it. So I've been really impressed with him. I really am. I'm really looking forward to see what he does in that first preseason game against the Rams. I know that's over a week away, if not more, but a week and a half, but still, I just really want to see what he has, and kind of how he's able to mesh with this offense. But I think he's a guy that we really, that really should excite Charger fans, especially because you can never have too many, and this is what I've taught Gilbert, you can never have too many weapons for quarterback Justin Herbert.
Hey, you're trying to get more wide receivers, and yes, they got Josh Palmer, so he's looking like a playmaker, a big body guy. And yeah, you're right, Fernando. It was a little bit of a slow start for Palmer, but he's finding his niche, and I think now he's starting to get in that good competition for wide receiver 3 with Tyron Johnson. And I know Jalen Guyton is still a little behind, but he's still getting a lot of reps there. So I think that 3-way battle for number 3, it's a pretty fierce.
By the way, I'm still not used to the single digit.
Oh, number 5 on wide receivers. Yeah. But you know what? On Kenneth Murray, number 9 looks perfect.
K9.
Yeah.
What does Adrian call him? El
perro.
El perro furioso or something like that. You guys need to find somebody that hypes you up the way Adrian hypes up Kenneth Murray. He is excited about Kenneth Murray, and he gets me a little hype for him too, just because he knows exactly what to expect from Kenneth. And I feel like that's a guy. Well, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, that's a huge hype up that Kenneth gets is from Adrian.
Yeah, no, definitely. Adrian does a great job. So hopefully, for a Chargers fan, Adrian is doing a lot of hyping for a lot of these guys. And sticking to the theme of the rookies, for Asante Samuel Jr., it's going to take him some time. I know they're trying to ease him into it, and everybody's expecting him to be a starting outside cornerback because he was a 2nd-round pick, and he should have been a 1st-round pick. But I know the Chargers coaching staff, especially on defense, with Derek Ansley, Ronaldo Hill, and Brandon Staley, they want to ease him into it because I see Brandon Faison getting a lot of playing time. Tevin Campbell. Tevon Campbell is getting a lot of playing time out there as well. So Asante's going to have to earn that spot. So I think for him, the more you can do, the better. And he's getting a lot of repetition as an inside cornerback and outside cornerback. So you could do that, and there being versatile and be trusted. I think, by the end of camp, he's going to be hanging out with the first team pretty often.
I'm glad you brought that up, Gilbert, because that's one of the things that I've noticed on Twitter. A lot of fans are like, hey, what's going on with Asante? he has to get eased in. I mean, it's not easy to play secondary, especially for Brandon Staley.
Yep.
Ronaldo Hill was a young corner a couple of like, well, I mean, in the 2000s, I don't want to date him either. But he was a corner. He knows exactly. It takes time to really develop. It doesn't matter if you're a first round pick or an undrafted free agent. It takes a while. So they're really easing him into it. Today, he almost had what looked like a pick six, but he dropped the ball. But hey, it was a good play. We've seen some flashes, though. I mean, we have seen some flashes from Asante Samuel, but like we said, it's going to take some time. It's only week one. It's still only week one. They've only had 5 practices. So slowly but surely, he'll get into the hang of it, and he'll start getting better and better. But definitely the first 3 draft picks are somewhat, it should be somewhat exciting for Chargers fans.
Yeah, and Fernando, I know we're going to shift doors up, but can I start giving myself some credit and pat myself on the back because I know I've gotten a lot of things wrong. Like I'll say that I thought Easton State was going to do much better this year. He's struggling right now.
It's not over yet.
It's not over, but I'm behind on the Easton State chase down number 2, but I am doing pretty well when it comes to the running back number 2. Yeah. I've been supporting Justin Jackson, and he got off to a slow start, being on the COVID reserve list to miss the first training camp practice, but it's pretty clear the coaching staff, Joe Lombardi, trusts heavily Justin Jackson, and I'm seeing him being number 2 to Austin Eckler, and even Austin Eckler is not getting too many reps because he's already proven veteran starter. So those reps are going to Justin Jackson. So all this talk about him being, on the last year of his contract and not being available, he's going to be cut. So far, I haven't seen it because he is being productive out there. So again, hopefully I'm not jinxing the guy. He took a big hit from Derwin James today. But I want to say Justin Jackson, if you're for the fantasy people, he's looking good. And I kept saying that you too, Fernando, you too, because you said, we said that he's such a talented player. He's just not available. So he's being available. And now you can see what we saw. This coaching staff didn't see it, but now they're seeing it. And I think that's he's going to earn trust. But, waiting for Roundtree to do stuff. I'm waiting for Joshua Kelly as well.
Big boy Darius.
Darius Bradwell as well. Those 3 guys are physical. So maybe the more we get into padded practice, they'll shine a little more. But in terms of talented playmakers, it's still Justin Jackson. He's just been hurt. But I think he's right now number 2.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Justin's done enough. I just want to pat on the back for tight end 2. I know it's early, but
it's for you, right?
Yeah, I think I deserve a pat for that one.
Yeah, do it. This is what we're doing so far. Now.
So I had told Gilbert, I'm like, watch out for 89, and Gilbert's like, and I mean, I was teetering with Justin Jackson the way he's teetering with Donald Parham because I don't know, like Justin, it feels like every time everybody gets excited for him, something happens or he gets hurt or something. But hey, this year so far, I knocked on wood. He's come out with some juice. He's really been playing well. He's been out there making plays. So in the pass game, in the run game, whatever you want, he's been doing it. But I told Gilbert that I like Donald Parham. I've liked Donald Parham since the Chargers signed him last offseason. I think he's big, he's aggressive, he's fast. The only thing was his blocking, and it seems like his blocking has really improved this year. And the Chargers have him right now as tight end 2. He sometimes comes out with Jared Cook. Sometimes he's the tight end that starts it out. Because when it comes to, and this is the thing, also fans need to realize, Jared Cook, Corey Lindsley, Brian Bulaga, some of these guys are Austin Eckler. Well, I mean, Austin, not really, but these other guys, they're veterans. So they're going to take some plays off. They're going to take some reps off. They're going to do some of this other stuff. Why? Because, I mean, they want to be safe for the games and all that stuff. So I understand why they're doing that. So the other guys are going to get reps, but Donald Parham's been a guy that I really am keeping an eye on because I really do feel like he's going to take that next step and he could be a mismatch. I know last year you had that, the Raiders, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, and the mishaps and all that. But I really do like Donald Parham. I think he could be a good tight end too, especially for a guy like Jared Cook, who is going to see a lot of his plays on 3rd down, red zone, short yardage, stuff like that. So I really like Donald Parham.
Yeah, I wasn't too sold because a year ago, I think he was just a one-trick pony, being a red zone threat, being 6'8", and he was good at that. He's a mismatch nightmare. But to be an everyday talent, you got to be a good blocker. You got to run routes as well. and he is he's much improved in those areas. Those are my two concerns. And I asked Jared Cook today, what makes Parham a pretty good tight end. He was talking about his speed, like guy 6'8", that fast, and being the fastest from the three along with Trey McKitty. That shows that Parham has really hit some strides, and the coaches are really seeing that, as well. But I was a little concerned with Parham because in the NFL, you're known as from the old coaching staff. You're that guy's player. Like Parham was recruited by the Lynn staff. I don't know how Brandon Staley was going to feel about Parham because they drafted Trey McKitty, so I was a little concerned. Like, okay, maybe they want McKitty more, but the coaching staff, the new one, likes Parham, and kind of keep the theme going. The players that are improved. Another one from the previous regime, Kaiser White. The new coaching staff likes Kaiser White, and he's really popped that as well as a third linebacker. When they go into base defense with Kenneth Murray and Drew Tranquil, and he's making plays out there. And I think he had a great rookie season, or at least a start before he got hurt. The next 2 years, it was pretty quiet for Kaiser. Now with Brandon Staley coaching him, this fourth year could be a big one for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's made plays, he's made interceptions, he's done a lot of things. You know what, Gilbert? I mean, before, and I'm 100% with you. I obviously you don't have to or whatever, but I commend Brandon Staley and his staff because they really have taken a look at all these players, and they didn't say, "Oh, well, Justin Jackson, no, we're good."
Yep.
All these guys, they decided to not bring in. They decided to keep those guys and really see how they can use them and how to tool them and how to be able to fit them on the field. And you don't see that from a lot of coaching staff. A lot of coaching staffs would be like, oh, coming in, they'd be like, oh no, like Kaiser White hasn't really worked out for the Chargers by this, that. They'd cut, bringing in their own guys. Brandon Staley and his staff have really said, you know what, let's look at what we have, what we need to improve. So they got guys like Kaiser White, like Justin Jackson, like Donald Parham, and they've really given them a chance to try and win the jobs that they need, the number 2 jobs, or like you said, the base defense for Kaiser White. So really, they're getting a fair chance, and it's like Brandon said when he first got hired, well, it's a blank slate. We're coming in with a blank slate. We don't know what you guys did the year before. We just know what you're doing now. So I'm definitely I definitely commend Brandon Staley and his staff for coming in and saying, you know what, we're gonna use guys that we bring in, guys that we draft, and the guys that we've had in the past. So I'm definitely I think that's definitely a positive for the Chargers and their new coaching staff.
Yeah, everything you heard in the offseason about this coaching staff, especially Brandon Staley, they're great teachers. They know how to, get your potential and help you get there and reach your goals. And the Chargers coaches are putting their money where their mouth is. They're like you were saying, these guys are kind of fringe players that have 1 year left on their contract or could be easily cut because they're from the previous regime. No, they're getting a fair chance, a fair shake because these guys, pride themselves being good teachers. And also they have so many crazy formations and disguises and a full playbook that maybe the rotation involves a lot of guys to be involved. And you think about a guy like even Alohi Gilman, he is, very involved with the first team defense as a third safety when Derwin's, up top at the line of scrimmage. And I had my doubts about the safeties because I'm like, I look at Alohi Gilman and Mark Webb, a 7th round pick. Alohi Gilman didn't do much. And now Alohi and Mark Webb are making plays out there. So that shows you these coaches are being, productive when it comes to teaching.
And that's why I gave the example. I don't know if yesterday or today, I don't remember when, but I gave the example that John Johnson wasn't a guy that a lot of people knew who he was with the Rams. He had played okay, but when Brandon Staley really got in there, John Johnson turned into a 4-year. I think he got paid $80 million by the Cleveland Browns. So now you know who John Johnson is. People regard him as one of the better safeties in the league. That's going to be interesting to see the way he plays over in Cleveland. But you know what, Gilbert? I think it's we should continue this Chargers Week 1 training camp talk with Daniel Popper of The Athletic. He's been a compa who's been begging us, talking crap to us, doing everything he can to get on the show. Well, finally, it's been realized. So we got Pop coming up next. The highly anticipated wait is over. We are excited about this next guest because we view him as a compa. He's on the Chargers beat as well. So it's time for Tres Compas on the beat with a chef, a techno artist, and a taco influencer. That, of course, is Daniel Popper of The Athletic. Pop, how are you? And what's this I hear about you having fans in Mexico? That's our territory, not yours.
Okay, quick story time. I was in Mexico for my girlfriend's birthday. Did a little trip with some
Shout
friends. And we were at a winery. We went down to Rosarito, and we were at a winery about an hour off the coast. And we got a beautiful dinner at Artia, which is a restaurant at one of the wineries. Beautiful 5-course tasting menu, a little ceviche, a little fried scallop taco. It was phenomenal. And we're leaving, walking away, and all of a sudden I hear someone come over. Hey, are you Daniel Popper? Turn around. It's a fan. I'm like, yeah, I am Daniel Popper. Who are you? He's like, I'm an Athletic subscriber. I love reading your stuff. And I'm so happy to see you in Mexico. And so that's literally the first time I've ever been recognized in public. And it was down in Mexico. And this is why I am an honorary compa. That right there.
Wow.
Popper,
Star.
5-course meal. Are you still at playing weight? Are you good? Or did you come in a little bit overweight? You good?
Yeah, I mean, I've been overweight since I graduated college, basically. So.
And some back spasms too, right? Some back problems?
Back spasms, yeah. But I still can kick. Get me on that field. I still can kick it. So
we'll talk about kicking later, Pop.
We'll get to it, Popper. But, Pop, we've been talking for months. You've been trying to get on Compas. We're going back and forth. We want to make the people wait for it because I know you're big time, as you know. A lot of fans in Mexico.
I'm big time. You guys big time me. Telling me I'm a compa over and over again. I'm like, all right, we're with the bros. We're all compas. And I got to wait freaking 6 months to get on the podcast. What is this?
Now that I think about it, Pop is an original compa, though. We made you wait, but you are an original. You can always have that in your resume. You started this with us, your Q&A. We blew up together.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I thought I was like the first guest on the Q&A YouTube thing. And then here I am waiting. Uncle Joe Reedy gets on 2 times before I even get a single appearance. What is this?
And you gotta wait, Popper. The last is better. You're like the main event. You gotta appreciate the way. And now we're here, but Pop, we almost canceled. I'm being serious a little bit because you were going pretty hard at Fernando about Team USA beating Mexico. What was up with that?
He was going hard at both of us.
I don't care for soccer, but it kind of did piss me off a little bit.
Yeah, Pop, don't forget.
He's doing it.
Pop, don't forget. He was watching tracking and field.
Listen, get my takes off about U.S. soccer. On the rise, Mexico done in the CONCACAF. Never going to be the top team ever again. U.S. soccer World Cup champions 2022. Christian Pulisic's going to win the Golden Boot. The golden age of American soccer is here. Kings of North America.
I'll take that bet right now. Christian Pulisic will not win anything. I'll take that bet right now. I do believe, though, Team USA is on the rise. Yeah. I do believe that Team USA is putting their right foot forward. They have players in Europe. They have good players in the MLS. Young players are starting to go over to soccer, and they're like, you know what? I want to be the next Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Pele. I want to be, hopefully don't go that Neymar route. He's talented, but there's some flopping issues there. But hey, it's working overrated. So there's a lot of really good U.S. talent out there. So obviously Gio Reyna, like I mentioned, but there's and Pop told me this on Monday morning. The coach that's coaching out and the first American coach in Europe is
Jesse Marsh.
There you go. So there's a lot of excitement in the U.S. for it. I do believe that Mexico has not put their right foot forward the last few years. It's always play their European players. Don't let any of the Liga MX guys play or MLS. That's a problem. I think they need to try and get Carlos Vela back, try and get some of these guys back and hopefully be able to do something. But no, I agree with Pop. I do feel like the U.S. is on the rise. But that number 10, he's a little suspect in my book. But I agree with Pop
president.
In the general.
He is the president of the United States.
In general, I'm with Pop. The U.S. is on the rise, and they are coming. So
you're forgetting a couple others. Zach Steffen, goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper at Man City. Okay. Sergio Dest plays for Barcelona. Come on.
Well, no, I know. No, and there's a lot of really talented players all over the world or all over Europe that are American, and they're only 18. Weston McKinnon for Juventus. Kid's talented. He's getting to play with Ronaldo, Paulo Dybala.
Oh, funny story about him, by the way. Weston McKinney was playing pickup soccer at Venice Beach like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
So, respect to him. Shout out Venice.
That's awesome.
I'll add one thing, though. So, great rivalry, right? I feel like an underrated soccer rivalry in like the global landscape. Those games are always fantastic. Both teams play their asses off. It is absolutely so much fun to watch, so entertaining, and I give a lot of credit to Mexico because the games are always fantastic. It's going to be a rivalry for years to come.
Maybe one day we should experience it in person, the three of us.
I love
Compas?
it. I'd say Tres Compas to Stadio Azteca.
It might be a little dangerous for Popper though in the USA outfit, so I don't know. I recommend that. But
and Popper, what they're throwing isn't beer, by the way.
But enough soccer though, guys. This is an American football podcast. I like soccer here and there. I like the World Cup when it matters. I don't know about this Gold Cup, whatever that is. So let's forget that. Let's talk about real football, Popper. I know that you know football. You build, like you say, a good brand knowing football. So you've done pretty well for yourself in the Twitter world. But I also know you like to promote very heavily. You're like a boxing promoter. You have a great story that came out, Rashawn Slater. And today it kind of lined up perfectly. Slater had a monster day on those one-on-ones. So kind of give me a breakdown what you saw from Slater. And, of course, plug the story.
Right. So I'll start with the plug. So I wrote a feature on Rashawn Slater just about sort of his early high school years and sort of into college and sort of how he morphed himself into this Division I prospect through really hard work and determination. His father obviously was in the NBA for 9 years, and he took a lot of the lessons that his father taught him, but his dad really wanted him to be a basketball player, but he never really gravitated to basketball. He gravitated to football, largely because his older brother RJ did, but also because he was sort of infatuated with the physical element of it and all of the things about football that allow you to be physical that other sports don't really allow. So it's about that whole journey and how he turned himself into this type of player. And so go check that out. It's at theathletic.com/team/Chargers. And or you can go to my Twitter. If you don't subscribe yet, you can go to my Twitter, and if you click the link, get 50% off. So it's as detailed a story as you'll get on Rashawn Slater. That's how I'll phrase it. In terms of today, I mean, the three of us were sitting there watching it, and Gil and I were over there initially, being like hoping to God that we were on the right sides, that the offensive line, defensive line, one-on-ones were happening over by us, and we had a little mini celebration when they came over to us because that's what we wanted to watch. We wanted to see Rashawn Slater go up against some of these great edge rushers that the Chargers have, namely Joey Bosa, but Uchenna Nwosu is no slouch either. And he got 4 reps. He went up twice against Chenna and dominated both of those reps. Went up against Kyler Fackrell, and really, I loved that rep because he got beat off the line of scrimmage because Kyler was standing and got a sort of a big jump off the line of scrimmage, showcasing that speed. But I loved how Rashawn Slater adjusted, and it sort of showed his spatial awareness and his ability to recover, and ended up winning that rep and sort of got Kyler Fackrell by the back shoulder and push him to the ground. And then, the heavyweight fight, Joey Bosa against Rashawn Slater in one-on-ones, the horn blows. Everyone knows it's the last rep. It's mano a mano. It's strength against strength. And Joey goes at Rashawn Slater and he just stands him up. And listen, we've both been to a lot of Chargers training camps, the three of us. I don't think I've ever seen a Chargers offensive lineman stand up Joey Bosa in that way before. And not just to say that, Rashawn Slater's dominating him on every snap. Joey's getting the best of him in 11-on-11 a lot, but to be in that kind of situation, high competition environment, and to stand up one of the best edge rushers, if not the best edge rusher in all of football in that manner, I thought was incredibly impressive.
100%. And Pop, real quick, in high school, his high school team did bad, right? Rashawn Slater's only won 6 games.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I talked to a bunch of players that played against him in high school, guys that went on to play college football, and they played in the same conference division in Texas, in the Houston area. And they use words like guaranteed win. They used words like trash, on the record. I didn't put it in the story because I didn't think it was totally necessary. The picture was painted well enough. Yeah, but they won 3 games in Rashawn's entire career. And it's, more affluent area. It's more known for its academics as a public school than it is as a football program. And you're playing in 6A, which is the biggest division in Texas, and you're playing against some really, really, really good high school programs. But despite that, Rashawn Slater stayed and played with his teammates. I think that's really indicative of who he is as a person. He's extremely fiercely loyal. And one of the lessons that his father taught him is don't point fingers, don't blame anyone else, just get better. Don't make excuses, right? And he had options to go play private school in the Houston area. There were players in other schools that were like, hey, tell your family to buy a new house, move to our area so you can go to our public high school and play for a better program. Rashawn Slater said, no, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to stay with my teammates, and we're going to lose a bunch of games, but I'm going to get better. And I think that affected his recruiting. I think that's why the only in-state offer he got was from Rice, and why he ultimately ended up at Northwestern, just because it's hard to get recognition when your team is so bad. But everyone I talked to regarded him as the best lineman, period, in the state, because he was a defensive end in high school, and he played every snap on both sides of the ball. Like, he played an entire game at offensive tackle and an entire game at defensive end. He had double-digit sacks as a senior. Wow. And some people think that in high school he's a better defensive lineman than he was as an offensive lineman. So a lot of people consider him the best lineman in the state, but he had this great senior season, but he had already committed to Northwestern. They were the first, Power 5 school to really show interest in him and offer him. And he had Baylor come calling. He had, big schools, Nebraska, Big 10 schools, Big 12 schools come calling that senior season. And he said, no, he refused, because he'd already pledged his allegiance to Northwestern, and that's where he was going to go. So I think that part of it is really a window into what drives him. It's loyalty, and it's being there for his teammates. And I think that's one of the things that really, on top of his physical attributes and football acumen, what really jumped out to the Chargers with that 13th overall pick,
Yeah, I know. And I compared it to the Hound versus the Mountain when Joey and him went at it.
So I
wrote that. Yeah. So I definitely, I had to do that. But you know what, Pop? We know why you're there. You're not there for any of this other stuff. You're there for that kicking battle. That's what you're all there for, and I'm with it. So, I mean, what have you thought about the competition between Badgley and I don't want to butcher the Vizcaino and Caseman,
Alex Kessman.
Alex Kessman. What have you thought about the kicking battle, and who do you feel, is there somebody that has an edge? What do you feel on this?
Yeah. So, well, let's start with what happened in practice. We all watched it today. Michael Badgley went first and made all 5 of his kicks, including a 55-yarder, which I thought was encouraging for him, because the issue for Michael Badgley has been kicks over 45 yards. I actually looked it up today. He's 45 of 47 in his career on kicks 45 yards or less.
Yeah.
Like, that's really impressive. He's nearly automatic. And then from outside 45 yards, he's like 6 of 18, So it's completely different kicker. So I think what he has to show in this training camp is, in these practices, that he has the distance to hit these kicks from deep. And then I think when they get into preseason games, they're going to try and put him in situations where he has to make kicks from that distance. In terms of how it stacks up, and then Tristan Vizcaino went next, and he hit all 5 of his kicks, including 3 from over 40 yards, as we all charted. But in terms of how it's shaking out, Darius Swinton scouted Tristan Vizcaino personally, right? He saw him kick against he was the 49ers kicker when Robbie Gould was out last year with because of COVID, and he made a couple kicks in that game, and Darius Swinton saw it on tape, and he's like, oh, who's this guy? He's got a pretty big leg. That's important, right? They clearly feel like they need to improve on special teams. That is a must, and you can see it, how much they're practicing it. They bring in a very qualified, energetic special teams coordinator in Darius Swinton, right? They draft a bunch of guys with special teams experience, especially late in this draft, between Chris Rumpf and Nick Neiman and Larry Roundtree, all guys that have played a ton of special teams in college. And they go out in free agency, they get special teams guys. Ryan Smith is a special teams player, and they signed him to a contract for that exact reason. Kyler Fackrell is a special teams player. Obviously he brings something as an edge rusher, and he had 10.5 sacks in that one season, but he has a lot of experience in that area. So this is very important. So are they going to stick with the kicker who really struggled last year and is a complete question mark on kicks outside of 45 yards? Which, let's be real, if you're kicking between 45 and 50 yards in the NFL, you got to make that kick.
Especially in a dome stadium.
Right. 50 plus is a crapshoot, right? But if you're 45 to 50, you got to hit those kicks or you're going to struggle. So if they are really thinking about moving the special teams unit forward, then they're going to really be considering making a change. And this is an open competition. And when you look at, okay, how do they stack up? Well, Darius Swinton personally scouted Tristan Vizcaino. They signed him because Darius Swinton loved him. And so I think that means something when you're trying to shake out, okay, who's going to win this competition.
Yeah, no, and definitely, and we all saw exactly what was happening. It's funny because we were on one side of the field, and we all had to run to the other side because that's where they were going to be kicking. That's what this is all about too. It's a lot of running. People think that we're just standing around in the shade. No, we're actually running from sideline to sideline, trying to show off our speed and everything. But real quick, Pop, one other matchup that we mentioned. Obviously, they all went up against. Most of them went up against Rashawn Slater. That is Kyle Fackrell. That's Chris Rumpf, and that's Uchenna Nwosu. How do you feel like that battle is for the opposite side of Joey Bosa? What have you kind of noticed? I know that Rumph was more with the other squad. He didn't really go up against the ones, but how do you feel like that's kind of that battle's going out, shaping up to? How do you feel like that's shaping up?
Yeah. So I've actually been surprised, and I know Gil noted this on Saturday. I've actually been surprised how much Kyler Fackrell has been working with the first team. It's kind of been like a 50-50 split between Chenna and Kyler Fackrell. They obviously think a lot of Kyler Fackrell as a defensive player. They think that they can tap into that 10.5 sack season that he had with the Packers and find some of that here. They also love what he can do in coverage. He obviously had a pick six last year with the Giants. So, they brought him in. It was two-pronged, right? I think they loved what he brought from the special teams experience, which we were talking about before, but I think they think that he also has a lot of upside as an edge rusher. And I don't think this is a situation where, Chenna Nwosu is going to be playing, 60-70% of the snaps. It seems like it's going to be a two-man rotation there opposite Joey Bosa, which I think is good because you need to keep Chenna Nwosu fresh. He has an injury history. He's never really proven that he can play a lot of snaps because even when Melvin Ingram went out and he started playing those, higher percentage of snaps, right, he got injured. So I think durability is a little bit of a consideration here, right? And so I think those two guys are going to be rotating there. The one thing with Chris Rumph, and we've all heard this from the coaches and even Joey Bosa, he's a little undersized, right? They feel like he needs to put on a little bit of weight, a little bit of muscle. So maybe he doesn't make that kind of impact on defense this year. But I think down the road, if he bulks up a little bit, they love his skill set. They love his makeup. They love the production that he had in college. I mean, he had a ton of sacks in college. I think he had close to 20 sacks in college, right? So, son of a coach, like all those things that the Chargers love, means he's going to learn quickly, means he's going to be able to grasp the defense. I think that you're going to have to wait a little bit before he makes a significant impact on defense, just because you need a certain amount of size in the NFL to be able to compete against these offensive tackles. But I think Chenna and Kyler Fackrell are going to be rotating there, at least from what I've seen. And I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, Pop. But what stood out to me with Fackrell when I think it was it Brandon or no, it was Ronaldo Hill mentioned the versatility that he could drop back in coverage. Then I started looking more into him. Like, he's only a 4th or 5th year guy. Play with the Packers, did pretty well with the Packers. Do you think having that versatility, especially in a kind of chaotic defensive scheme with a lot of disguises and formations, that could help out Kyler and kind of be an edge over Chenna Nwosu?
Absolutely. I think the more you can do in this defense, the better chance you have to play, and that applies to any position. I mean, you see how much they're moving these secondary pieces around. I mean, Mark Webb is a 7th round rookie, and usually with a guy like that, you're like, all right, here's your position, learn this position. They're moving him all over. They got him at safety, they got him in the slot, they got him at money backer, and they're throwing everything at him because that is what Brandon Staley prioritizes, is versatility, because the more versatile you are, the more we can do to disguise, right? So that's why a guy like Kyler Fackrell is sort of, breaking into the first team unit, is because, okay, when we line him up at edge, he can get after the quarterback. He's at a double-digit sack season, but we also can drop him into coverage. So that versatility in that spot becomes really, really important. And I think that's why you're seeing him get these reps early on in camp.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's getting interesting to see the way this is all shaping out. When you look at the one more position battle, and that's the third receiver, I mean, I know a lot of people are really wondering. Yeah, exactly. Gil keeps one eye on that.
I was missing T. Billy today.
I know.
Yeah.
It felt different, but when you look at Tyron Johnson, it feels like it's Tyron Johnson, Josh Palmer, Jalen Guyton. In my opinion, I feel like they're going to be mixing and matching these guys around so much. But how do you feel about that third receiver spot?
I'll tell you what, Josh Palmer looks like a player.
Yeah.
Looks like a player. Caught 2 touchdowns today. And what the front office and what Tom Telesco and Brandon Staley said about Josh Palmer after he was drafted, right? You're seeing that come to fruition in the field. You're seeing strong hands. You're seeing precise route running. You're seeing the size and speed combination that made him really alluring. This is looking like a really solid pick. I mean, if he keeps playing like this, maybe they're not mixing and matching as much. And it's Keenan and it's Mike and it's Josh Palmer. The thing is, Josh Palmer and Tyron Johnson to me right now, they're the 2 guys after Mike and Keenan. And I think Tyron offers a little bit different of a skill set than what Josh Palmer offers. We'll see what happens. He's got a foot ankle issue. Doesn't seem to be serious based on what Brandon Staley said. But I mean, Tyron Johnson's making plays too, right? So maybe it's a situation where, okay, we want a speed element on the field as a third wide receiver. You bring Tyron Johnson in. And now we want more of a bigger receiver, better route runner, better in short areas, maybe can create some mismatches in the slot. Okay, then we bring Josh Palmer in. But to me, it's those four right now are the top four. And I think Jalen Guyton is battling his butt off for a roster spot right now. Like, let's be real about it. That's sort of where it's at. I mean, he was a favorite of the previous coaching staff. Obviously, the front office signed him as after he was an undrafted free agent. He struggled with drops. He had more drops in this camp. He made a nice play today, but if they don't keep 6 wide receivers, like that 5th wide receiver spot right now is a huge battle between Joe Reed, KJ Hill, and Jalen Guyton. And I'm not sure which way it's going to go because all those guys have made plays and all of them have had some, missteps and mistakes as well.
Yeah, I know they've some of them have even dropped when they've done punt returns, kickoff returns. They fumbled it. They've lost control. So it's definitely it is going to be who can do the most. Is there a receiver maybe that could maybe jump out and maybe take these guys by surprise, like an Austin Prohl or something like that? What do you think?
I like Austin Prohl, man. He had a drop today, but that was really his first mistake of camp. But sure-handed, great in short areas. He's shown some speed. He's shown some precise route running. I kind of like what he's bringing to the table, and they need a reliable punt returner, right? And I don't know if any of these guys are really reliable. I mean, KJ Hill was like back there because he could catch the ball, and then he had that massive muffed punt against the Raiders that basically led to that loss. I don't trust Jalen Guyton's hands. Tyron Johnson is a guy who might give you a more explosive element, but to me, Austin Prohl's been the most reliable guy back there. So maybe he has a shot. I just think there's just too many receivers battling for that spot. So I think he's more of a practice squad guy, but I like what I've seen from him, on offense and on special teams.
Pop, with Brandon Staley, we've had, plenty of conversations back and forth, you and I, and the thing we always go back to is like how detailed this guy is. And everything he's doing out there is from special teams to one-on-one drills or whatever it is. They're very detailed in everything they do. And I think you were making a joke saying like, you try to ask questions and this guy's already, maybe ahead of you, everything you have, and you like to ask a lot of questions, Pop. So I'm going to be curious to see these post games and how you guys go at it.
Right.
Just mention Brandon Staley and how he is as a teacher, his philosophy, and everything you've seen the first week and what's kind of stood out for you.
Yeah, he's just so involved with every facet of practice. Like, he's hands-on. And it's not like during special teams drills, he's taking a step back and he's just like sort of observing. Like, even today, Nasir Adderley ran down the field on kickoff and like squared up his body really well. And Brandon Staley's 7 steps on the field being like, hey, Nas, way to square yourself up. Sometimes you'll have your shoulder like this, but this time you really squared up. Like, that's like technique. That's like, like legitimately high level special team stuff that he's coaching to these guys. And he's not even a special teams coach, right? So I think that's the thing. It's like he has his hand everywhere and he's very knowledgeable about all of it. And then, you see it in the videos that the Chargers tweet out. We see it on the field. Just like every single play, he has a note to somebody. Like, he's never taking a play off. After every play, he's either saying something to Derwin James in the walkie-talkie or he's getting the guy that's coming off the field being like, hey, I want you to play it like this. And, that's what matters. Like, those little moments stack up. When you do that hundreds and thousands of times over the course of a season, all of a sudden you're getting improvement from everywhere. And we're seeing it. Like, Alohi Gilman was a complete non-factor last year. And I don't mean to be blunt about it, but that's just the reality of the situation. This guy's out there with the first team making plays. He had an interception today. Mark Webb, like we were talking before, a 7th-round pick. He has 2 interceptions in practice right now. Like, how many guys are going to be able to coach up a 7th-round pick to be playing 3 positions and making plays in their first training camp?
And that's him. And that's him reading the intercept. Mark Webb reading the interception, reading the play, and able to cut through and make the play.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been thoroughly impressed. Just like little things that Brandon Staley was saying in his press conference about like certain intention of certain things, like the way he phases in his special teams during practice to simulate a game, right? Not having coaches on the field during 11-on-11 to make players solve problems themselves. Like, those are the little things that, like, okay, like, you're watching practice and you don't think that there's any intention behind it. But with this guy, like, everything has intention. Like, every single thing that they do has been thought out and there's a reason that they're doing it. There is no going through the motions anywhere, not for the players and certainly not for the coaching staffs. I remember a special teams period of last week, I looked around and I was like looking at all the assistant coaches. They're all coaching during special teams, right? Frank Smith is talking to all of his offensive line and Jay Rodgers is having a one-on-one conversation with Joey Bosa. It's everywhere. Shane Day's talking to the quarterbacks. Like, they are every single moment they're teaching and they're coaching. And will that make this team into a playoff contender? I don't know. but it certainly is noteworthy at this time of year that you have that kind of effort, consistent effort from a coaching staff, and it starts with the head coach Brandon Staley.
Yeah, no, change is always good, and this team needed something different after the last couple of years, and how kind of bad it was at times. But sometimes change is not always good. Pop, I gotta ask you a big question: are the taco reviews coming back for 2021? Like, I haven't seen any. It's been a minute, man.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do them?
I think we should do one together.
I'm thinking. All right, let me run this by you. Breaking news on the Compas on the beat. All right, I'm thinking about everyone. I said I had something special coming in the morning. Everyone started asking me for a cookbook. So what if I did recipe of the week? Thoughts?
Yeah.
What was your breaking news, or what was, like, you said you had something coming? Was it the Rashawn Slater thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Rashawn.
Okay.
Not big enough for you, Fernando.
Like, what? Like, I love it. Everyone's always, he's dropping his mixtape. I'm like, no, I'm just doing my job as a Chargers beat writer and writing a feature about their first round pick. Yeah,
I actually did see that mixtape tweet.
Yeah, all my songs on my SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/dpopper. If you want to go listen to it, it's like very mediocre, but it's okay.
So
I'm
versatile.
thinking the other thing I'm thinking about. Okay, burrito of the week. Because I haven't really delved into the burrito scene. I mean, I have, like, for myself, but I haven't written about it on our sports website.
Cali Tacos in Orange County.
Right. Like, maybe I do burritos of the week.
You have people. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you have
well,
people.
listen. Well, here, if you're listening to this podcast, tweet at me at Daniel or Popper. Let me know if you'd rather have recipe of the week or burrito of the week. Let me know. Hit me up.
Pop, when did you become so, I guess, obsessed with tacos? Obviously, we grew up with them, but for you, being from where you came from, at the Far East,
right when you moved to Los Angeles.
Well, New York City. I mean, New York City has a big Mexican population, So I used to eat a lot of Mexican food. Shout out Taqueria Diana on the Lower East Side, best habanero hot sauce in the United States of America that I've tasted. But yeah, I really started eating a lot of Mexican food when I was in New York City, just trying different taco shops, different taco trucks. I wouldn't say it was like my passion like it is now. But then, I mean, you moved to Los Angeles, you better get into some tacos, or what are you doing? And I've always loved food. I've always been a big food guy. So whenever I go to a new city, even when we're traveling for games and stuff, I'm trying to find the best food in that city, and I want to go and eat it. When I go to Kansas City, I almost said St. Louis. So when I go to Kansas City, I'm going to get amazing barbecue. That's what I'm doing, So coming to LA, I was I gotta just understand the culture, understand the food scene, and the best way to do that is to try a bunch of tacos.
I gotta ask, in Jacksonville, did you find any tacos?
Yeah, there was one good taco place. Well,
wow.
Okay. Let me talk about this, because this kind of got under my skin. There was one there was one taco place that everyone thought was amazing tacos. I don't even remember the name. It was Taqueria Lou or something like that.
I can tell you, I have one like that, but go ahead.
It was like a Jack's Beach staple, but they marinated their carnitas in Dr. Pepper. It's I thought it was really overrated.
What?
But then a crime against humanity. So then there was actually a decent taco place that was north of where I lived. Again, forget the name. I kind of have erased everything about Jacksonville from my memory. But they had this really delicious hanger steak taco with pickled red onions. I love how I don't remember the name of the place, but I remember everything in this taco. That's just so on brand. So yeah, pickled red onions, and then pistachios. Oh Lord, verde salsa. That was good. So those were good tacos. But we're talking 9.7 to 10.3 on the pop point scale. The best taco shops out here, you're talking 14.7, 15.2, 15.5. Sonora Town, downtown LA, best tacos in Los Angeles.
I have a place like that, and everybody in San Diego outsiders, everybody thinks that Tacos El Gordo is really good. I think it's overrated, overpriced, overhyped. I don't think it's good at all. The only thing that's good is their campechana fries, which is carne asada, carne adobada, French fries, and then cheese. That is good. Other than that, it's not that good, and everybody's always doing the long lines and everything. It's humongous.
I wait. I was like, this taco has to be the best freaking taco I've ever eaten, or I'm not waiting in line. I went to
well, they were good in TJ. When they were in TJ, they were very good. When they came over here, it's like they lost a step.
The taco stand in that's what it's called, right? In San Diego, there's one in Encinitas.
Oh, I've never been there.
I think that's what it's called. Those are really good. I went down there. Well, let me look it up. I went down there last season. It was super good.
Let me ask you guys a question, because yesterday I had tacos and the price was
I'd say you go.
No,
You go.
no, I'd say $2.50 to $3 is okay.
It's okay.
There's some places over here that like there's a place called Puesto, which is gourmet tacos, and like my parents went the other day and they said they had 4 tacos together. Like no, 5 tacos together, 2 beers, and it was like $70. They were like, dude, that's way too pricey.
I paid.
It depends what kind of scene you're going to.
Well, that's true
like, are
too.
you going to like the bougie California taco spot where you get like strawberry margaritas and then
TJ has spoiled me.
Octopus, char-grilled octopus taco.
Those are so good.
Fire, really good. Pulpo, right? Pulpo.
Yeah. No,
right?
That you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay.
Pulpo, there you go. I was like, what?
Yeah. Or are you going to like Leo's? I mean, Leo's is $1.50. You get a great. You get a great al pastor taco with pineapple on top. Yeah, easy money. The frustrating part is that before the pandemic, they used to have the guy outside shaving it, and then he'd do like freaking cut the pineapple off the top. But they can't do that now because of the pandemic. So everything's inside the truck. So it depends. It depends what kind of taco place you're going to. I think anything over $2 for a street taco is simply outrageous.
Okay, yeah, street tacos, yes.
I agree.
In a restaurant, like $2.53, I'm like, it's not that bad. But it just depends on the quality and like Pop said, what kind. It's funny. I've never really gotten tacos in LA. Like in LA, I'm like, para tacos en mi casa. So I definitely we should do that one day. The 3 of us should go out and get some tacos one day because I haven't really touched tacos all that much in the LA scene, and I'm very interested, especially.
Yeah, I ranked 19 places in LA, so you can go check that out. And we can pick out the ones we want. Yeah, like we should go to Sonora Town because it's great. It's like
maybe before the joint, maybe before the practice on next Sunday.
Yeah, well, it's like in Skid Row, so just like heads up. But it's like Sinaloa, that region, so it's like flour tortillas and then steak tacos.
Ooh.
I got this thing called a caramelo. It's basically like a quesadilla, but it had it was basically quesadilla, but had like beans inside. So that was fire. That was so good. But their steak is like out of bounds. Sauces are amazing. You'd like guisados, Fernando.
Oh, I like everything. Yeah.
Guisados is like all stewed meats.
Yeah.
So like,
No. I'm super down for all that.
Yeah, like
that's
spicy
why I'm saying I'm
pork,
easy.
Yeah. All right, we'll do it.
Yeah, and Pop, you're forgetting the most important part. You know how to order in Spanish. So let's end with that and give us your order in Espanol before we leave.
3 al pastor tacos, por favor, compa.
Perfect. Get that compa in there.
Yeah.
We love it. Anything else
all the Spanish I need to know?
Anything else you want to get out? You want to say before we let you go and get back to doing the great work that you do for the Athletic?
I just want to say that I'm happy for you guys. You guys are killing this podcast, and it was an absolute honor to join you. And I hope I don't have to wait 6 more months to come back on.
That would be January. So the Chargers would have to be in the playoffs for us to welcome you back in.
Or something a little more nefarious.
Ooh.
Perhaps another coaching change. No,
dun. We appreciate you jumping on, Pop.
Adios.
There are many things Dan and Daygo knows well, but here are 2 of them. One is offensive line scouting. As a former standout high school offensive lineman, I have a keen eye for who's going to be good in the trenches. And I'm happy to report that the Chargers have some studs on their brand new offensive line with Corin Lindsley, Matt Filer, and rookie Rashawn Slater. Can't wait to see this group play. And for number 2, Dan and Daygo knows breweries, and the best damn one is Brewery X in Anaheim. So what are you waiting for? Brewery X is Dan and Daygo approved. So start heading to Anaheim to get yourself a cold one for the summer heat. Once you arrive at Brewery X, you'll see many beer options. But it doesn't just stop at beer. They also have hard seltzers. I've been saying it for weeks. Brewery X in Anaheim is the place to be. What? So play Compas on the beat on the car ride over to Brewery X in Anaheim. You won't regret it. Now let's get to everyone's favorite segment called Una Más, presented by Brewery X in Anaheim. Brewery X, you have it there from Dan and Daygo. August 17th, fans, don't forget that is when we're gonna get it on. It is gonna be Dan and Daygo versus Gilbert. What's
You forgot my name, or
no. I'm trying to think of a nick because I said Dan and Daygo versus Gilbert.
I'm Gilberto. That's
Gilberto.
my fighting name.
Yeah, no.
Oh, well, I'm a lefty.
The stash.
Yeah.
The stash.
El
Manzano.
bigote, Gilberto Manzano.
Gilberto, el bigote Manzano. There you go. Boom.
But
There you
something
go.
more. Give me like something with an adjective for mustache. Ferocious mustache. I don't know.
El bigote furioso. El bigote furioso.
Pretty long, but I like where we're going. But come Gilberto. That's my
there you go,
name.
Gilberto.
Southpaw, left-handed.
Brandon Staley does that too, so that's a pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, today, by the way, real quick, I heard him scream at he was screaming at Michael Davis. He's like, "Vato, eso!" I was waiting for
essay.
like essay, orale, good play. So I definitely was laughing about that, but you know, it's funny. I mean, we've had so much football talk and everything. I kind of want to like dive into like stuff that we like to do in the off, because like obviously like we're doing this, and from now till January, February, we're going to be packed and loaded with work, with this, with that. I just want to get into a little bit of kind of what we do when we decompress. I like watching shows. I really have a lot of fun, and I have a confession to make. I'm a huge soccer fan. Everybody knows that. I had not watched Ted Lasso until recently, 2 weekends ago.
Shame.
My brother and my sister and I were like, hey, you know what? Like, let's watch Ted Lasso. My brother and my sister were watching Modern Family, and I was like, let's watch Ted Lasso. Like, I was cooking. I was making duck. By the way, my duck was very good. It was delicious. Good. Oh my God. It was one day, Gilbert, tacos de pato. I'll make you some tacos de pato.
Yeah, ¿me invitas o qué?
Yeah, bro, always. Mi casa, su casa.
There you go.
But I was making the duck, and I was like, hey, let's watch Ted Lasso, and we put it in. Man, I couldn't stop laughing. The show is just, it's everything you want.
Well, let me get this straight. The entire Ramirez family has never watched Ted Lasso.
No,
come on.
I know.
You guys don't get on me for not watching Harry Potter, and I was ahead of the game for the Ramirez family. I watched Ted Lasso.
Get out of here. But that came out like years ago, and you're barely catching up to it.
Everybody's talking about Ted Lasso, and you're so late to the game, but I'll give you a pass. I saw you wearing a shirt. That's how much you liked it. I saw you wearing
Oh my God, it was funny. I thought everything about it was hilarious. I thought Roy, is it? Oh man,
yeah.
I'm bad with Roy Kent,
I think.
Yeah, Kent. Yeah, I love the chants for him. I love the way he was as a player. I thought it was hilarious. I just thought the dynamic of the show,
football
was just
is life.
Great. Oh yeah. Daniel Rojas. I was like, oh my God, that is hilarious. So I love Ted. And he's funny. My cousin Daniel kept on telling me, you need to watch Ted Lasso. And I'd be like, the little mooch has every single one of my accounts. Anything Peacock, this, that. He has all of them mooching off of me, but that's another story for another day. And I would always see that he'd be watching Ted Lasso, and I'd be like, I don't know. And I like the main actor, Jason Sudeikis or whatever. Yeah. I like him.
He's really good.
I liked him in Horrible Bosses. I've liked him in other stuff that he's done. So I definitely thought it was good, but I'm just, I liked it. I liked it so much. And I remember I talked to Haley about it. I talked to you about it. So it was definitely a lot of fun to watch that show.
Yeah. Like at first you think it's kind of cheesy, like, oh, this inspirational guy, saying, if you believe, things will happen for you. Like I hate that in press conferences for, when you hear a head coach talking about like, hey, you just got to fight and believe, guys. I do never use those quotes, by the way, but Ted Lasso was preaching that, but he's also kind of, unique because he has a different kind of background. He doesn't know much about soccer. That's kind of funny. There's that one journalist who was like pretty hard at him right away.
That guy's hilarious.
And then again, the respect, because this guy, like, okay, maybe he doesn't know the game X's and O's, but he's not trying to be a fake or a fraud. So I kind of respect that. But as the show goes on, it's like character developments, they're all great.
Coach Beard.
That guy's pretty funny. And then the other one is like an intern who was like the water boy who became a coach.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of good storylines.
I forgot his name.
I forget. I should rewatch. My confession, I haven't watched the second one yet. I'm trying to wait for I hate when they make you wait a week. So I want to binge it all.
Oh, I'm exactly the same way.
Okay,
I hate
I have no
that.
patience for that, but I do want to get into it and watch it. But I'm glad he jumped on. Like I don't even like soccer, Fernando. So, but watching Ted Lasso for me was great, and kind of hearing a different kind of point of view.
Nathan is his name.
You got the name? Okay, he's actually
Nathan.
like another show on Peacock I just saw, so he's doing well for himself.
Really? Oh, yeah. Wow, that's awesome. But no, I just thought the show has been very good. The only thing I'm a little I'm waiting for is the love interest between Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso, and that one and the owner's friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like what happened with that? And I don't know. I'm waiting for that. You know, it's funny. I love that they go to that pub and Ted Lasso gets crap talked by the
bartender,
by the fans. They're all talking crap to him. I just thought that was hilarious. So I think it's a great show. I really do think, and it shows the passion of English fan. Man, I'm telling you, I've seen it, I've heard it. Man, English fans, it doesn't matter how small the team is or how big the team is.
How terrible they are.
Or how terrible they are. They love their team with a passion. Literally, it's football, family, and God in a sense in over there. And they really are all about football. So it definitely, I definitely see this show and I'm like, yeah, no, that's definitely how it is. But I just think the show's awesome. I think it's hilarious. So I'm definitely 100% sold on Ted Lasso.
Maybe one day the Compas go to London or the UK. I want to go out there and let's watch a lower level soccer game.
I'm down to see all levels of soccer.
There you go.
Like that it would just be way too much fun.
Dude, I just want to drink beer and be out there because they go hard out there.
Do you like the dark beer?
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's very interesting.
I'm a diverse, versatile beer drinker.
I love how it doesn't matter what time it is, the pubs are always full.
Yep.
It's like the people that worked the night shift that are gonna go home, and now it's I don't know. I just think it's hilarious the way they it's the night shift people that go and drink in the pubs in the morning, the people that are on lunch break, then the people that are off work, and then
all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, I was watching this video on social media. I think it was one of the Euro game. I think it was Denmark, and there's a video that went viral of a guy having 12 beers on his hand and just taking it up the stands to his friends, and everybody's cheering him on. I thought that was great.
I haven't seen that one. That is awesome.
You gotta check it out. But Fernando, what's the avocado rating on Ted Lasso? Is it fresh or podrido?
Oh, fresh, bro. That is fresh. That is super fresh.
100%.
That is. I loved it. I love Ted Lasso. But is there something that you've been watching? Anything new with you?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I should be a little embarrassed about watching this, so maybe I should put the blame on my partner. She's been watching Love is Blind, and she said you got to watch it. You're gonna like it. It's kind of your style. I'm like, you know what? I do kind of have a guilty pleasure watching these dating drama shows, and sure enough, I watched Love is Blind, and I was just upset, fascinated by these people who have never seen each other. They're in person, in face, proposing to each other within 24 hours, 48 hours, and the drama that goes behind the scenes. I'm like, what is going on? And I got hooked, Fernando. That's my guilty pleasure. I guess I am a dramatica. I like being a toxico. I like to watch this.
I love it.
But I would never do something crazy like that.
You can do it?
No, never seen. What do? They talk through a wall.
And
they fall in love, and there's people crying like, "Oh my God, it's finally happening for me!" And oh my God, this is crazy. But that's what I've been doing to kill time after every.
I've been able to find love in 30 years, and these guys do it in 24 hours. What
I know you should be pissed. Go on the show, Fernando. You go on Love is Blind season 2.
I couldn't. What's funny is that one of my friends, Olivia, she told me last year, right around when the pandemic started, she's like, you need to watch this show. And I'm like, I don't know. And then she's like, no, honestly. And then she knows how Dan and Daygo is. She's like, you have to make Dan and Daygo watch this. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, the three of you guys need to watch it with Melissa as well. So we start Daniel was pissed. We started it one night at 7 o'clock at night, and we watched almost the whole season. And we went until 4 a.m, and we're like, okay, we need to stop now. And then
Dan and Daygo liked it.
Oh, he fell in love with two of the girls on the show. He's like, oh my God. He's like, now I know why they fell in love with them. And I just started laughing. I won't give you names, but it was hilarious. And then at the end just gets me. I have videos of him actually watching the finale, and he gets so mad. It is hilarious. But he tells everybody that we forced him to watch it, and Melissa's like, "Yeah, we forced you up into a certain point. Then
Just own it, Dan.
yeah, you just liked watching it," and then he just starts laughing. But it was hilarious. I don't know if I could go on a dating show like that. I feel like I have too many questions for people, and I'm one of those people that it takes me time to trust people. So I don't know if I could be on a show like that and in 24 hours or in whatever time that they want me to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to get married. Like, I don't know about that.
Dude, I started throwing pillows on my TV when I heard like, "Oh, I love you." I'm like, "You just met it 24 hours ago. And you still haven't seen them in person." And like, it's just weird to me. But
dude, and especially us being like Latinos, I don't think our parents like would be down for something like that. They'd be like, ¿Qué? Lo hiciste por el dinero. Lo hiciste por el dinero. Like, and that'd be the first thing that they would tell me. I know that's what my parents would tell me, like, because my mother would not like. I could already see the wedding in my head, that episode finale where my mother tells me, do not do this. She stands up, objects, does anything. I could not see my mother would want to meet her, know everything about her, and then give me the okay. So I don't see my mother or my sister. I think my sister's a very jealous person. I don't think my sister would be okay with something like that either.
Yeah, but I would love to see you on the show, Fernando. And you're looking for love, and your parents are gonna be mad, and your siblings are gonna be pissed off. But I'll be there supporting you, man. You find it any way you can, man.
I don't know if I could do something like that. I'm telling you, like, I mean, the free vacation and fake it till you make it. I guess on the vacation, I think I do that. I think they go to Cancun or somewhere like that. So I'm like, oh my god, can you imagine? Like, I just kick my feet up on the beach and
I'll pretend to find love. All right, let's do it, and then break off the wedding after.
Exactly. There you go.
It was crazy because there was like 50 people on the show and only like a handful.
They only featured like 8 of them.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm like more people like.
I think it's like you have to stand out as a personality, which I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't like tooting my own horn, but I think my personality would kind of stand out. And I wouldn't make it there. How would Dan and Daygo do?
Oh, he'll probably be like, I think he'll walk out. Like I think there was like one person, like, you know what, you're born, and the guy just walked out.
Oh yeah,
I can see Dan and Daygo doing that a lot. I think like he'll be featured just because he's not meant to be on the show and just being pissed off. He'll do well.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's just the fun show. I mean, everybody I think has guilty pleasures, but I checked it out. I thought it was funny. I thought it was something different. So I'm definitely, that's what Melissa was telling me the other day. She's like, oh, there's 3 episodes. I'm like, oh, like for the new season? She's like, no, for the last season. I'm like, oh, yeah. Still? I'm like, why haven't we done a new season? But definitely my friend Olivia was telling me, she's like, if she just told me in secret, she's like, if they come to LA or San Diego, I'm definitely signing your brother up for it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that would be fireworks. And I don't know.
Imagine like you know how they have like little names for you? Like it says Dan and Daygo promo reader. Like it'll be amazing.
I don't know if they could handle Dan and Daygo. If he was confined to being only in a room and doing all that stuff without seeing them, I don't know if he could do it. I'll tell you one thing though. I'd pay money to see that.
Yeah, he'll be talking about Tim Tebow the whole time.
On that note, Gilbert, it's been week 1 in the books. Write it down. Now we get some fun stuff. We're gonna have some fun stuff coming up next week. The Chargers have a practice at SoFi Stadium at night. With a little bit of a concert, a little bit of a twist. So it's gonna be exactly. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of really good stuff for you guys next week. We might have some surprises too, Gilbert. I'm very excited about what might be going on next week. But you know what? For now, though, we're not going to give anything away. I'm just going to say it. Gilbert, vámonos.
Ya nos vamos, pues vámonos.